Okay, so gonna make this real quick, hopefully. Should be a quick one. Just commenting on Gauns's video from yesterday, talking about Freemasonry symbolism in the new Thor Ragnarok movie, right? And I just made some little comment about how it'd almost be easier to make a video listing all the movies that don't have this kind of symbolism in them, right? Because it's just so pervasive, so ubiquitous. So anyways, it was just this stupid little comment, and then different people were kind of chiming in. Somebody said something about the Lego movie is a pretty wholesome movie. And I agree, it is a wholesome movie in the sense that it's clean and it's funny, it's family friendly. I liked the Lego movie, I thought it was pretty funny. But then I just responded with a couple of my sort of initial things that I had noticed about the symbolism that's in that movie, even when I saw it, right? Talking about, you got Lord Business, who's basically a demiurge figure, just like a false representation of God, like the Emperor in Star Wars and a million other things, right? And then, the leader is Vitruvius, who's like this mystical wizard, sorcerer guy, kind of like, he's like Morpheus from the Matrix. They even have a scene where it's kind of like Morpheus talking to Neo at the beginning, to explaining the Matrix. It's the same thing. And then you have, there's portals and, different worlds that you can travel between them and all this stuff. And then, of course, this whole idea of the master builders. Emmett's trying to become a master builder, right? Right there is kind of a Masonic reference. So anyways, I was just commenting on that, just whatever. But I kept thinking about that a little bit later, and it's crazy because suddenly, I don't know why I never thought of this before, but maybe it's just because now that I've done, so much more of this, looking into the whole quantum mysticism thing once again, right? I probably didn't appreciate this the first time I saw the movie, but how it's totally a depiction of the whole quantum mysticism idea. The whole, you've got all these pieces, right, that we can identify all these different sort of representations of magical concepts, right, popping up. But when you understand just the whole underlying way that a Lego world, like it's the Lego movie, everything's made out of Legos, the people are Legos, and it's all about learning to be a master builder, where it's like this superpower where the master builders, when they're in a tight situation and they have to rescue someone or save the day or fight the bad guy, they just use what's around them to create some sort of vehicle or whatever they need, double-decker couch, whatever. But it seems silly, it seems really kind of innocent and silly, but dude, when you think about, just thinking about the whole idea of, at the end when Emmett finally kind of realizes his master builder potential, right? He says, I see everything, and then he can see all the little pieces in the environment. It's just like code vision, once again, going back to the Matrix idea. So yeah, it's crazy how it's of all the symbolism that's in that movie, I didn't actually realize that it was went so deep into stuff that now you can pinpoint it. And then there's things like in the Lego Batman movie, involves all this stuff having to do with the Phantom Zone, where all the big bad guys from different worlds, different dimensions. That's a common theme in all these Lego movies, where all the Joker goes, and then it's all sorts of Gnostic teaching that's going on in that. But you also have this video game called Lego Dimensions that many of you have probably seen, and it actually involves, like, central to the whole game is the idea of this dimensional portal. And so they use it as like this, it's basically a plot device in order to like combine all these different brands and different movies and toy lines and everything, and so you build them all into one universe. So it's kind of convenient from a marketing standpoint, right? A cross-platform. But it's really more than that. The beginning opens up with this guy, his name is like Vortek or something, and he's again a demiurge, evil, wannabe god, and he's mastering he's trying to harness all the power of the universe, and there's the elemental artifacts that keep everything in balance. And so it's all about, once again, all these different dimensions, all these different worlds are built out of Legos. And so it's crazy how they're using this innocent, what is really just a fun toy. What kid doesn't like to play with Legos? I still like to play with Legos. I can admit that. It's just building blocks. But using that concept to teach even on a child level, this whole Matrix idea, this whole idea of the whole universe being built up of fundamental things that can be reconfigured and reassembled in whatever way you want. You create the world as you see fit. You can, through your own intention and through your desire. I mean, the whole plot of the original Lego movie, right, was all about like the dad who was like, no, it has to be a certain way, it has to be according to the directions. And then the kid was like, I want to build however I want to build, and I don't want to be hemmed in by these strict guidelines. And I mean, wow, what a theological statement that is against the idea of that there's a God who's made things the way they are, and that there's a design and a purpose, and that if we deviate from that we're actually sinning against the Creator. And so it's spinning all that on its head and trying to turn that into like, whoa, what a tyrannical, ugly thing for a higher power to do. And so it has a total theological message, a total Gnostic message, but using the Legos, the bricks, and the whole idea of like the fundamental building blocks of reality. And then, I mean, it's crazy too, because it's also a total depiction of simulation theory, right? And in these things, once again, they always go hand in hand, where you have the larger, the real world, quote unquote, when they're looking down on this little model, but then, so the model is like the simulation universe, and he goes from one to the other, and then back again. And I mean, there's so much in there that's just totally, total embodiment of the stuff that just is woven throughout all the quantum physics and the quantum mysticism, and then which of course itself stems way back all the way into the Kabbalah and Hermeticism and the mystery schools of old. So once again, nothing new under the sun, but just being repackaged and introduced to children in what seems like an innocent toy/media company. But of course, it's all serving an agenda, and that agenda is the spiritual deception, is the Mystery Babylon religion that absolutely is blending science and magic, and they blend at that quantum level, right? That's where Satan has basically decided that the two will meet. That somehow science and magic become indistinguishable is once you get down into that quantum hyperdimensional level. So we see propaganda for this all over if you're really just willing to see it. the new Thor Ragnarok movie, right? And I just made some little comment about how it'd almost be easier to make a video listing all the movies that don't have this kind of symbolism in them, right? Because it's just so pervasive, so ubiquitous. So anyways, it was just this stupid little comment, and then different people were kind of chiming in. Somebody said something about the Lego Movie's a pretty wholesome movie, and I agree, it is a wholesome movie in the sense that it's clean and it's funny, it's family friendly. I liked the Lego Movie, I thought it was pretty funny. But then I just responded with a couple of my sort of initial things that I had noticed about the symbolism that's in that movie, even when I saw it, right? Talking about okay, so gonna make this real quick, hopefully. Should be a quick one. Just commenting on Gonz's video from yesterday, talking about Freemasonry, symbolism, and you got Lord Business, who's basically a demiurge figure, just like a false representation of God, like the Emperor in Star Wars and a million other things, right? And then, the leader is Vitruvius, who's like this mystical wizard, sorcerer guy, kind of like, he's like Morpheus from the Matrix. They even have a scene where it's kind of like Morpheus talking to Neo at the beginning.